What up, what up, what up, football fans all over the world? It is your boy, Mac the Giants fan, here with my guy, the super dope co-host, Adam Costas. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for the real deal NFC East Round-Up. Punch that intro. What is going on? What's up? No Mets, no Nets, no Jets. What is up, Daniel Barry? Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all too. Always the first two at the top of the show, man. Definitely always appreciate y'all. How's it going today, Adam, man?
I am good. It is another Wednesday. I can't believe we're 7 weeks into the year. It feels like just yesterday we were talking about the start of the year, and here we are damn near halfway through it. So insane to think about.
Absolutely, absolutely. 7 weeks in already, man. The season is it's already moving along, man. And
For some teams, it's over.
we're gonna get right to it. Yeah, we're gonna get right to it. We're gonna talk about one of those teams that I think we all feel strongly that it's over. But let's get right to it, man. At 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, the New York Football Giants hosting division rival Philadelphia Eagles. The return of Saquon Barkley to MetLife Stadium. Adam, man, I've said a lot already about. I haven't really honestly heard, your full opinion of this, your full assessment. So, brother, don't you go ahead and take it away, man.
Oh, where do I start? So let me break down how this worked out for you, folks. I was at a fall festival, right? And I gather the
What
kids
up,
up
Kenneth?
quickly. I gather the kids up quickly and with my wife, we scurry off from this fall festival to get home. So I get home, I missed the whole first quarter, can't hear it. I thought I was gonna bring my phone, my earphones in the car to kind of, listen to this debacle go on. Well, I get home and I sit down and I turn on a fellow's podcast and they're talking about the Eagles. The Eagles just had the ball. By the time I get home, the Eagles are up 7-0. So I'm like, all right, you know, normal shit, normal Giant shit. Then all of a sudden they just started to pour it on. Saquon Barkley had the game of his life, as I said he would. I said he would circle this game. They did. All I heard all week was how bad the Eagles defense is, and we're gonna have a chance in this game, and Barkley's not gonna run all over us, and Daniel Jones is gonna bounce back performance. I don't want to hear any of that shit. Okay, this is this game is a microcosm of the season. And I'll tell you something. What I saw from a guy like Deontay Banks does not bode well for this team. Okay? Giving up on plays, getting dog walked by the Philadelphia Eagles, putting up 3 fucking points. Your starting quarterback benched at the start of the fourth quarter. I don't want to hear any more about DJ and how good he is. I don't want to hear any more about it. Okay? My island, I was the only one on that island for a while. And I'm here now. I don't want to hear anything about it. What I want to know is how the hell does this defense, what do they have to do? They kept you in the fucking football game. You cannot score points. We could blame the play calling. Sure, fine. It was bad. Whatever. I don't care. Blame the play calling. But there's no life. There's no energy. And the fact that we have guys that are quitting on the team, and this is not like a veteran quitting. This is a 23-year-old dude quitting because they know the offense cannot move the damn football. Where is this? You know what pisses me off even more about this is that where is Dable and your ball sack to pull that kid off the field? Say, you know what? We don't want to play. You pulled your quarterback off for poor play and needing a spark. How about you pull that kid off? How about you say, you know what? We're not going to tolerate that bullshit here and pull it up. No, you know what you do? Oh, I'm going to address it in the media. Oh, we handle it in house. A real coach would have sat his ass on the bench and would have said, you know what, kid? Unless you want to play football, get off my team. That's not the effort I expect. This team is horrible. It's poorly coached, it's poorly managed, and it's poorly run on offense. Defense, I can't complain, except that you gave up in the fourth quarter. But I can't blame them because their fucking offense stinks. They can't do shit. Meanwhile, on the other side of the football, they didn't even really pass the ball. They threw the ball 10 times. 10 times. And they still had 28 points. 10 times and they had 28 fucking points. They rushed for damn near 200 yards. Barkley is here on sound clips saying, nope, I don't need to get my fucking rushing total. Let the young guys eat. That's how embarrassing it was. We got to see Kenny fucking Pickett. Kenny Pickett. This loss was one of the worst losses in the Brian Dable era. Okay? And this loss could be one of the one that sinks his ship. Okay? Players quitting. You're not yelling at them. The offense, who you're supposed to be a genius of, can't work. You can't listen. I can blame Daniel. I think Daniel has hindered him immensely. It's when it's basically like this. When you have to hold someone's hand, it's hard to navigate when you have to hold their hand through everything. I understand it. But you might seal your fate with the way that these people are playing. And let me find out that you give the same effort next week. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're absolutely fine because you're validated in every word you just said. I mean, that's what bothers me. Like, this shit is so bad now that the defense came out in early going in this game and was playing gangbusters. I mean, they were getting to Jalen Hurts. They were rattling Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean? He was having a tough day. And they were even bottling up Saquon a little bit early on in the early portion of this game. Defense was getting after it. But like you just said, once the writing was on the wall and they realized that this offense was going to do the same bullshit that they always do, which is absolutely nothing, they said fuck it and quit too. That's not acceptable. That's a cancer in this fucking team. That's like a fucking that's like a disease. Just eating away at this squad. And at the root of that disease, I'm sorry, number 8, people look at you in that locker room like, this dude's getting paid more money than me and he fucking sucks. He sucks at his job. Like, this is the crazy shit with Daniel Jones, man. I just don't get it. Like, people are still defending this fucking guy. Still making excuses up for this guy. So many excuses still. I'm on social media pages and fucking people are actually have the audacity to compare Daniel Jones to Patrick Mahomes. Like, really making comparisons. Because technically Daniel Jones' statistics look a little bit better technically. You know what stat don't look better? Is that Patrick Mahomes' team is 6-0. Daniel Jones' team is 2-5. And that's what it's all about. Patrick Mahomes might be off to a pretty shaky start to this season. But at the end of the day, when they need a fucking play in Kansas City, when they need a play, Pat's going to make that play. He's going to make that play no matter what. People just saying the most craziest shit in defense of Daniel Jones. I don't understand how a player like him can just divide this fan base the way he has. And this is a sickness. Like you said, Brian Dable, it's frustrating to me. Like, are you the leader of this team? Are you the head coach? Are you truly running this shit? Because I can't tell either. And Joe Shane, oh man. You just look dumber and dumber every fucking day. Every week that goes by, you look more like a fucking idiot. Okay, I'm just talking about the Chiefs. The 6-0 Kansas City Chiefs. Are they fucking sitting on their goddamn hands being complacent? Nah, they still making moves. Going out there getting DeAndre Hopkins today. This is what I'm talking about. What are the New York Giants doing? We let Saquon Barkley just walk away for nothing last season. Just walked away scot-free. No compensation whatsoever. You didn't want him to be truly didn't expect want him to be part of the future. You could have got something for him. Let him just walk the fuck away. And right now, you don't seem to be making any kind of moves, thinking like trying to do something. I mean, the Rams dangling Cooper Kupp out there. I mean, what are we really doing? Or what are we really trying to do to truly improve the situation over here in New York? Don't seem like we're trying to do much. I can't even take this guy seriously. All I see is that stupid ass grin on his face that he had on his face all through Hard Knocks. This is not the New York Giants. I gotta look at old fucking videos for the good memories and shit to remind me of the good old days. Because there's nothing recently in recent history that's been good about this franchise. Nothing. Keep talking about some damn, we won a playoff game in 2022. Whoop-de-fucking do. We won one fucking playoff game 2 years ago. What we look like since then? Shit. That's what we look like. This ain't the New York Giant team that I grew up loving. Like I said, I watched bad seasons, but I ain't never watched nothing like this. This is embarrassing. Like I'm embarrassed when I walk out with my shit on and people are like, you a New York Giants fan? Sorry about that. Cause that's the energy I get out here representing this fucking bum ass team. I don't even see like what you're doing to try to improve the situation. I mean, look, I hear you. It's not the team. I get it, but this is just we're every time I think we can't sink to deeper, like to sink any lower, we find a way to keep doing it. Like Adam said, to me that is the worst loss in the Brian Daboll era because that was disgraceful. You watched the team flat out quit on Sunday. Flat out quit. This team has scored one touchdown at home this season. One. And the quarterback ain't have nothing to do with that play. That dude hasn't scored a touchdown at MetLife Stadium since 2022. Let that shit sink in. He has not led this team to a touchdown at MetLife Stadium since 2022. But yet, that's what we're still trotting out on the field. That's what we're trying to get somebody, get our fan base to believe in.
You know,
Sky is not. What you got, Adam? What you got?
I have an issue. First off, fuck Daniel Jones. I don't care about that guy anymore. He's been benched. He stinks. We know he stinks. If he stays in the game, the Giants are probably going to have 2 to 3 wins. Period. That's how bad he is. But what I want to say is, Brian Daboll, why the hell is Drew Lock not prepared? Why does he look like he hasn't touched the football since like Russell Wilson in November of 2023? Like, why does Marcus Mariota come in on his game and still throw 40 points, but our guy comes in who you want to spark from and he looks like he hasn't seen a playbook? Like, what are you doing? That is you. That is your room. That is your team. You came in here. I understand, and for all that it's done, right? Like, I understand Drew Lock doesn't get the reps, so Drew Lock's in a compromised position, right? He's coming in cold turkey off the bench. The first plays you're running with him is fucking center snaps him a poor pass. He overthrows it. Then he has another one. He actually does something good and scrambles and then slides. Hey, Daniel, maybe you want to take a page of that playbook, but he's not prepared. How the hell is he not prepared? I see backups come in all the time across the league and can function their offense. But our guy comes in and looks like he can't do anything. And then you have the audacity to go on presser and say, well, Daniel Jones gives us the best chance to win. I was looking for a spark. Well, guess what? If he had given you that spark, what would you be saying now? Would Daniel Jones be the starter? Or conveniently, that Drew Lock, who didn't have the preparation, stinks, and you can conveniently say, well, we're going back to Daniel Jones because he didn't give you that spark. It's not fair to Drew Lock to do that to him. He should get more reps if you're going to do that. And yes, the benching should be on the table now because there's no going back from this. Okay, you benched him once. We've already seen you bench him in the middle of a game for a performance-related issue. If he's having performance-related issues against certain teams, you need to bench him. There's no more going back. You've ripped the Band-Aid off. You fucked it up. Okay, and like Mac was saying about Joe Shane. Joe Shane is not exonerated. That's why at the end of the year, if they have a bad year, all three of them should go. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but all three of them should go. Okay? Right now, they're trying to blame it on the quarterback, right, is most of the thing. Then you look at Brian Dable's offense. I can't blame him when guys are open. Like, people are like, oh, his offensive scheme sucks and this, that. Okay, so his offensive scheme is not the greatest. But if guys are getting open, then it's execution that's the problem. And if the guy holding the football can't get them the football, that's the issue. Also, Brian Dable needs to refocus his coaching energy. Give the play calling to somebody else because right now you're running this team like the Buffalo Bills. And you don't have Josh Allen to compensate for the lack of a run game that you support. You got rid of Saquon Barkley and brought in a guy who's not even as talented as Saquon Barkley. It probably has never been a starter in the league. And that's who you brought in and said, this is going to be our bell cow. And then you're wondering why your run game is not good. You got a fifth-round pick who, while he's doing good work, is a fifth-round pick for a reason. Sometimes you hit him like Isaiah Pacheco, and sometimes you have what you got with Tyrone Tracy. Okay, your offensive line is playing their hearts out. But instead of getting your fifth-round pick, your fifth overall pick in the game, you put in Josh Ozudu, which is compromising the offense. You know he's shitty. I mean, it's compromising the offense between the bad quarterback play and now having to make up for this guy. You have nobody on offense to catch the football if you have two fucking tight ends blocking for this guy, and then you have two guys out on routes, and then you have a quarterback that can't read the defense. Like, this is how bad it's gotten. And it's an entire organization flaw. And what do we say, Mac? What do we say in fucking April? We said if they draft a quarterback, no matter what happens this season, you would have a chance to stay and see it to the end. You decided to double down with Daniel Jones, triple down with Daniel Jones, okay? And then instead of getting a comparable backup or drafting a Spencer Rattler like I suggested, who many people crapped on me for, or let me put it bluntly, shit on me for, you can't draft Spencer Rattler. What are you doing? You can't draft a quarterback. Well, if you had one of those guys right now, even if they sucked, it would be better than watching Daniel Jones. You could at least trot somebody out there. Next year, we have only one guy under contract, and he's a guy we don't even want here. Why? Because we didn't want to put resources into that position. Instead, you got Drew Lock, who had a few games with Seattle, and he comes over now, and now he's supposed to be your backup. You let Tyrod Taylor go, who he knew he was better than Daniel Jones, and right now would be starting. Look at Tyrod Taylor. He's over there on the bench chilling with more money on the Jets. He could be starting right now on the Giants. And you didn't want to give him money because what? Because he was too high priced. You wanted to coddle your backup quarterback and your starting quarterback who should be a backup. And the last thing is your backup quarterback who's a starter, which is Daniel Jones, the guy you invested in. You didn't want to invest in a running back who came in and dog walked you. That guy dog walked you on the other side. He beat you up that he didn't even have to play the last quarter. He sat out the last quarter. Saquon Barkley, think of that, folks. He had 180 yards in three quarters. And three of them came on big-ass plays that helped out his team win. But you didn't want to pay him the extra money because you were spiteful that he didn't take your deal back in 2023 or whatever it was they were doing. You were spiteful. So you didn't want to sign him. You let McKinney walk. You let these walk. This is all your mess. And that's why, for me, I need Daniel Jones to go to start. But I need to consider Brian Dable being fired as well. And Joe Shane. Because this is a fucking mess.
It is a disaster. I mean, it's a disaster. It's all coming back to bite them in the ass right now. It's like every mistake is being magnified because as you're right in your face. It's so clear and obvious that some of the fucked up shit that he's done now. That it's like, why is Joshua Zudu the second best left tackle on this football team? Apparently, why is that? Because he sucks. So how are you telling me that this guy is the next best option when at that position?
Evan Neal. They won't even put out Evan Neal to try him out there.
Like,
why not?
Yeah, maybe that could be what the thing is. Maybe he would just be more comfortable on the left side at this point with Evan Neal. I mean, he was a first round. He's a first round pick. You invested a very high draft pick in Evan Neal, and yet you're putting Joshua Zudu out there. Like, this dude.
And you know what?
What more do you have to see from Joshua Zudu to know that he ain't it? He ain't it.
Ugh.
I mean, he got Daniel Jones absolutely, practically murdered a season ago. What is?
He did get him murdered. He broke his neck. That was the guy that gave up the sack that broke Daniel Jones's neck and probably his career. But the thing that I want to get to that you're mentioning, that you're truly mentioning is like, let's get to Evan Neal for a second. What I don't understand how this guy goes from being one of the top picks in the draft, who now you're saying to me he can't play football. And some of the reasoning I'm hearing, I don't know how true it is that you didn't like his rehab process, but you are so spiteful that you don't want to take out Josh Zudu, who you're now signing booty ass Hubbard off the street, right? Bringing in DJ Humphreys for a workout because you don't trust your left tackle to succeed because you don't want to take your right tackle and put him over there and see if he's any good. Newsflash, Joe Shane, or whoever takes your job, Andrew Thomas is a liability, okay? You may want to trade him and get some value for him while he's high because he's an injury risk. And it only gets worse with O linemen. So I would trade him now. You're not going anywhere. The only guys I'd keep are Burns and Dexter. Trade him now. But no, you're not going to do that. You're going to sit on your hands and do fucking nothing. And this shit is what we get. We get no heart from the offense. Where's the spark? You know why there's no spark? Because we have no leader. There's no guy they can look at. You know what sparked the Eagles? You know what sparked the Eagles? The guy you sent packing. He was their lightning rod. He's been their lightning rod since he signed there. Look at every game that they played. When he's made an impact, they win. It's no coincidence that our quarterback, who you deemed better than all the quarterbacks in the draft, has a better record with Saquon Barkley than any other running back on his team. You didn't look at the numbers. That's on you, Joe Shane. You were like, I'm not going to pay a $12 million running back to be handed off to a $40 million quarterback. No, but you know what they did in Philadelphia? They laughed you all the way to the bank. And now they might have just turned their season around to the point where they, at the end of these next 8 games, could be one of the top teams in the NFC because of that guy. And what are we doing? We're floundering over here with a guy with 2 broken necks. We benched his ass already, and we have nothing to look forward to.
Oh my God. That is the New York Giants, folks. That's the New York Giants right now, folks. That's what the Giants are. Remember the Cleveland Browns back in the day, the Detroit Lions back in the day? That's the New York Giants now. Where are those guys? The ones that everybody's laughing at. They're all gonna laugh at you, like they said in that movie Carrie. They're all gonna laugh at you. That's what they do. They're all laughing at the New York Giants now. This is just so bad. When you just watch your team quit, that's where I gotta draw a line, man. Like if I'm the defense, I'm ready to beat the offense up my damn self. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? There was plays I saw a play where Malik Neighbors, in the middle of the play, he's pointing to Darius Slayton, telling Daniel Jones, throw it to him. He's wide the fuck open. Like, why is your other wide receiver having to direct you to where to throw the football, Daniel Jones? Why don't you see these things? And then he threw a fucked up pass to Darius Slayton. Wide open. This is what we're dealing with now, man.
You know what else
This is what this team is dealing with.
You know what else is wrong? I want you to. You said something that brought up a play to me because one, the fact that you have to be your guy who's running backwards can point backwards to the guy that you should be throwing the ball to. Meanwhile, I won't forget this play because my wife asked me a question. I think it was my wife, and she said, "Why did he slow down? Why did Malik Neighbors slow down?" And I said, "I'll tell you why he slowed down." Because there are two guys on the fucking play, and he's like, my quarterback can't throw this. We're two freaking, I'm double covered here, right? And no, what does Daniel Jones do? Throw the fucking ball right at Malik Neighbors, damn near gets it fucking picked off. Because, like just that dumb shit is what you're doing, right? You clearly see he's got help over the top, and there's a man trailing him. He is not open, and yet you make the throw. And then another time you had the play on false start or whatever that shit was, by the defense, and you damn near get it picked off again. You don't even launch it to the end zone. You launch it to the other team. I'm like, these are the boneheaded mistakes that keep happening, that have happened, okay? And this team, look, to me, I don't care what happens now. It's time to evaluate who's on this team and get guys out of here who are not here. Darius Slayton, I don't care if Jalen Hyatt's injured. Your ass is on the trading block. I'm sorry. You're not probably coming here next year. All right. Time to start thinking about getting rid of some guys. Period. If they lose next week, what's the point? Don't sit here and tell me we're going to go the miraculous run. You're not. You would be 2-6 at that point with what?
You're 0-3 in the division. You're 0-3 in the division right now already.
Right.
Already 0-3 in the division.
How are you like the only way for them to make the playoffs is to win the division? You're already 0-3 with still 3 games to go against 3 teams that can beat you. You had the Commanders you hung with. The Eagles blew you out and the Cowboys beat you. You're still not good. They're 1-10 against their division. 1-10. Let this sink in for a bit. And I know we're going a little long with this team, but it needs to be said. We need to get it out because, this might be the inflection point of the season because as we go, they may not win any more games or win a lot of games. And quite frankly, I wouldn't win shit. I don't want to see moral victories or high fives. We did that shit last year. I told you guys last year we should have fucking tanked so we could have had no choice to pick a quarterback. This year, I don't want to hear shit. If Daniel Jones has to play 17 games and that gets us a better draft pick, well, damn it, put that motherfucker in and leave him in the game. If he's going to cost me a draft, good. The best thing you could do for me, Daniel Jones, is get me in draft position so I can draft your fucking replacement. Okay? I don't want this guy out and then we put in Drew Lock and we start winning motherfucking games and people tell me, well, we need that for the morale. We don't need morale. We need change. And the only way to get that change is we need to bottom out. I don't want to scrape by 6 wins and high five each other like, ooh, we made progress. That's not progress. And the thing is, the reason why I believe these guys are going to be fired, it just dawned on me now. The drama that we've seen from January of this year to now. I told you guys in January, early on, I said the Giants would have a bad season. And people said, why? I said, I'll tell you why. They have too much drama. The hard knocks is not what they want to do. When the Giants are in the media, whether it be we're trying to replace Daniel Jones from fucking every pro day that they went to Russell Wilson coming in here and all that shit, to being on Hard Knocks, they were never not out of the limelight. And then to say the roster was constructed bad, where have you not seen the Giants been pounded as we went? They don't perform like that when they're in the national spotlight. That was an indicator to me this team is going nowhere. Plus, you had coaches being fired and all this drama. Yet we still kept the guy. We still doubled down on both this coach and this quarterback, and they both failed. And the guy who brought him in here should go out the door with him, and that's Joe Shea. Because everything that's happened, John Mara put pressure on you. He said he wants to see progress, right? You try to preach patience, but this is bad. This is not patient worthy. You don't get to reset your clock. I said, if you're not expecting NFC Championship game, you're not setting your expectations high enough. And I said that for a reason, because you're in year 3 of a regime of a guy you paid $140 million for. Do you think the Cowboys are paying Dak Prescott to be like, oh, let's have a losing season? No, they're paying him to try to get to the playoffs and win. That's what you do with these guys. Jalen Hurst, they're showing you, why they paid him. He made the money throws at the money time in the game. You can hate on Jalen Hurst, but he played a good game for what they needed him to do that game. He was good. Our quarterback can't do shit.
And the problem to me, the problem is magnified when you look. We go back to April again in the draft, and these quarterbacks that were available. You know what I mean? And granted, I know a few of them you didn't really have a real chance at, but that's the issue. These guys look. Okay, Bears, Caleb Williams, Bears 4-2. Jaden Daniels, Commanders 5-2. Bo Nix and the Broncos 4-3. Drake May just got the starting job, and yes, it's been rough in New England. They're not a very good football team, but it's not.
He's good.
It's not looking like it's on him. He's playing good football.
He threw three
through his first couple
of
starts. And then Spencer Rattler is it's a little dicey from a 5th round pick there, but at the end of the day, he looks like he potentially got a future too. And he was a 5th round draft pick. We haven't even seen Michael Penix on the field yet. We haven't seen J.J. McCarthy because of the injury. But the point is, these guys were available. These guys were available to you, Joe Shane. At least a few of them still were.
Yes,
and you can see the impact that they've had. You can see the impact that they've already. Well, Bo Nix is the only one out of that group really getting a real opportunity right now. But at the end of the day, it's not looking as good necessarily as Caleb and Jaden with Bo Nix, but he's still damn sure effective, and he's got the Denver Broncos winning football games, and that's all that ultimately matters.
Let me ask you this:
and he's looking more competent than our quarterback. He still looks more competent than our 6-year veteran quarterback as well. But what you got, Adam?
So this question I have to ask you is this, right? If Spencer Rattler's on the team, do we feel different about Brian Daboll and Joe Shane? Just Spencer Rattler. I don't need Penix Jr. I'm just saying a guy, let's say, that you got in the 5th round. Would you have a different mindset this season? Would you rather just say, well, they got Spencer Rattler, put him in, at least I can look forward to him? Because I guess what I'm saying is we have nothing to look forward to. If I had Spencer Rattler on this team, I could at least say, hey, you know what? He may not be the best, but at least I get to see him and see what I got in my 5th round pick. I have nothing. They didn't invest. So my question is, are we better off, squandering that? Or would you feel better about them if they had somebody competent in-house that you could be like, at least they took a swing?
I would have felt good if, like you said, they had something. Because obviously Spencer Rattler, after all those big names, was one of the the next level guys. Was one of the better of the next level guys. You know what I mean? Right. Coming out. So, at the end of the day, it would have still like you said, because you got something to potentially look forward to, something to evaluate.
Right.
And get, put some eyes on. So,
like, think about it. Think about right now. If you had Spencer Rattler on the team right now, we're in the same position. Are you throwing as much shade and, venom, I guess, at Brian Daboll and Joe Shane? Or is it more of like, let's see what the young kid has and, a little bit more, I would say, more optimistic about losing this season, I guess. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, would you be as would you be as angry as we're angry right now because of all the moves they made? But if they had a Spencer Rattler in here to give a look at, right? And you have Daniel Jones and Drew Lock and Spencer Rattler here, right? And the season is going the way it is. For me, and this is just me, I don't know how you feel about it. But for me, I don't know if I'm coming at Brian Daboll and Joe Shane this way. They took a swing at a quarterback. I'd say, you know what? It didn't work out. Let's see what they got with Spencer Rattler. And then, hey, maybe next year, yes, you lose. We might have something in Spencer Rattler. We might not, but at least we could draft a quarterback. I wouldn't be like fire. I don't think, because I have Rattler in here. Would you feel the same if you had a guy like that in here?
It's hard to say because there's some of these moves, some of everything else with these guys. It's other things with them and
all right. How about
bothering me?
If it was J.J. McCarthy, would you have more? And let's say he doesn't get injured. Would you be as disappointed or wanting them fired as you would now? Like Spencer Rattler's hard because it's a 5th round pick. No. I get it, right? But if we're doing this for real, so you would, so you wouldn't be as angry as you are now, is what I'm saying, right?
No, I wouldn't be. I'd be looking forward to new beginnings.
Right. At least,
But
even if he was
still,
injured, we could be like, oh, well, we don't need to draft a quarterback because we have J.J. McCarthy coming in, and he's a young guy. We have excitement, right? We didn't do anything, and I think it's gross negligence. Again, we'll get to the other game. There's only one other game here because we played the Eagles, so we don't really need to talk too much about the other game, which was a wash. So that's why we're probably heavy on the Giants right now. They got a lot of stuff going on, so we have to sift through the garbage that is them. So I do apologize if we're running a little long on the Giants, but these things need to be said and talked about right now as we go, because as you dissect this game, this game is bigger than what it is. And Mac, getting back to what we were saying, you and I always had these discussions, Joe. Like, if we don't bring a guy in here and we stink, that's fireable offense. Like, and we talked about this in April. Go back to our shows. We were like, yo, if they don't draft a quarterback here, and they have a bad year, they're probably going to have to get fired. That's what we said. And right now, I have what Mara will do and what I want them to do are two different things. Mara may keep them because he's stupid and he wants to keep continuity. I don't think he will if we go 4-13 or whatever, but he's dumb enough to do that, and they can blame Daniel and all this shit. However, this is what we talked about in terms of being smart. Joe Shane may never get another job after this, but how he looked in Hard Knocks and how he looks now, and then I know this is not a big deal, but Boogie Basham, who you traded for and spent $1 million for, you cut just now, and you have a guy who's on the injured reserve. It's like, these are, and that's an ancillary move. That's just a small move, but that's a bad move. It really is. When you're getting rid of and you're not even using Isaiah Simmons, who you trade for. Like, where is that guy? Like, what does he do? And then Evan Neal is the biggest. The two biggest mistakes that he's made has been Daniel Jones re-upping and Evan Neal. The handling of Evan Neal has been flat out terrible, because you can't tell me that fat ass dude. No pun intended, anybody fat, but he is huge. He's a madman. You're telling me that guy can't block forward? You don't want to give him guard reps? You don't want to, cross-train him? Like, why wouldn't you just say, hey, you know what? The reason we're not putting in Evan Neal is we're cross-training him at guard, and we want him to focus on guard right now. Bang! Everyone will be like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. I'd rather have him be a guard. Then they might ask you about maybe moving Illuminor, who's playing his best ball and knows that he can get out of his contract, doesn't want to be moved to the left side and fuck up his money situation. So now we got guys playing for their money. So now you don't want to move things around. And then you drafted Josh Azudu when you could have gotten Cooper Beebe. Instead, you wanted, Andrew Phillips. Okay, you wanted the cornerback Andrew Phillips, who, by the way, doesn't even play cornerback; he plays linebacker. So, I mean, what are we doing? I feel like this is how I feel about Joe Shane and Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll gave Joe Shane a list of groceries, and he came back with the exact opposite of that list. He was like, "Oh, I need a quarterback. Yeah, you want a receiver? Good, got it. You know what I mean? I need a defensive tackle. Oh, you need a tight end? Great, got it. You know what I mean? Like, and because of all the positions that they lose, we lost Darren Waller. So instead of, having a tight end here that we believe in Daniel Bellinger and giving him a shot, we draft another tight end. Oh, joy. We lost McKinney. Instead of doing what other teams do and draft BPA, we draft the best safety because we need to replace McKinney. Oh, but I forgot we have Dane Belton and George Owens here. I mean, I guess we don't want to try them. And Jason Pinnock and a few other guys you brought in. Great. Well, let's see. Whatever. Let's go down the laundry list. Oh, we're going to pick a wide receiver here because our quarterback is so bad. We want to get playmakers to make him look good. And then you went down another road, and you're like, we don't need a running back. Who needs running backs? Ha! Not us. We'll do it by committee. Give me that bum. Give me that bum. This is a deal. It's like you went to the bargain basement bin of the store in the clearance aisle, and you're like, let me pull this guy off. Ooh, Devin Singletary. Ooh, that price is a little much, but you know what? I'll pay for it. I got it. Then when you got Eric Gray here who fumbles, you got him in the 5th round. He doesn't do shit. You got Tracy like, we have a running back. This guy's a receiver who played running back. Yeah, that's a credential. Let me get the guy who hasn't played running back that long and draft him, because that's a smart drafting. That is really smart. A guy who's only played running back for a year, You drafted. Oh, by the way, it's not behind you. You know why? Because you drafted. I don't know, Wando Robinson, who was a running back converted to a receiver. So this time you just flip flop the position. This is what I mean by this guy. It's like you went out there and you talk to your defensive coordinator and you're like, hey, do you need this guy? Do you need that guy? And he's like, oh, I need this. You're like, you're good. You're good. You're good. I got everything you need. Hey, by the way, hey, what about the quarterback? Because both the guys they suck. And the guy in front of him got a neck injury. We don't need that shit. I got one. Don't worry. I got one from the Dollar Tree. It's all good. I got a deal on it. Or, you go to those clearance stores, those liquidation stores, you buy. I have one in my town. You go there, you get the knockoff. You don't get the knockoff products. You get the products that fall off the back of the Target truck that are damaged and got like a hole in them, but they're selling for $4 and that's what you want. That's how we got it. We got a quarterback that was broken up in the bin. And we're like, you know what? The bin's kind of broken. I don't really trust it, but hey, it's $5. Let me get it anyways, right? That's what you're doing. That's how you're shopping.
And I love your analogies, bro. First and foremost, I always love your analogies of things related to this football team. But that's what it feels like. You're right. You're on the money, man, with that. But we have spent quite a bit of time here, and let's just for some quick, just New York Giant positive news. Eli Manning has advanced to the next to the next tier at Hall of Fame voting. So keep track of that progress and see. We'll see how Eli makes out, man, when they'll be announcing the Hall of Fame class I guess January when they do that.
Oh, so, Mac, we're going. If he gets in,
he has advanced
in February. Book your tickets because we are going.
Yeah, he has. So he's still alive right now. Still alive. We'll see what happens with old Eli, man. Hopefully he gets his number called for that.
He's a survivor, in
Ohio, man. But talk about Carolina a little. I mean Carolina, excuse me. The Washington Commanders who beat down Carolina on Sunday, man, a little bit, man, and it was a beatdown. I mean, and unfortunately, young quarterback Jaden Daniels will go out early in this one, man, with a little rib injury. But it didn't even phase the Washington Commanders as they just went on and continued to just. Marcus Mariota came in and they just. Oh man, they laid the smack down on the Carolina Panthers. I said it last week. Washington need to go out and make a statement in this one. Beat up on a terrible football team, and they did absolutely that. Threw hung 40 on them, and this was never a contest. Adam, what you got, man?
The guy goes down as he's sliding, and he's trying to go down. He didn't really get hit that hard, but he had a bruised rib, and he goes out, and the team is still humming with the backup quarterback, because you know why? I'll tell you a few reasons why. One, Marcus Mariota is a veteran, not a great veteran, but he's a veteran that allows you to do some of the similar things you are doing your offense with Jaden Daniels in terms of running the RPOs and throwing the short passes. He's very good at that. Okay, and Cliff Kingsbury knows how to utilize quarterbacks. That's what you're seeing. By the way, Cliff Kingsbury is going to be a guy who may be getting a job soon if this holds up the rest of the year. But what I'm saying is you're looking at that, and he comes in here and he steadies the offense. They relied on the run game. Okay, this team is very simple. They don't do much. They give it to their best player, who, by the way, Terry McLaurin is having a phenomenal year. Okay, Zach Ertz is being rebirthed with Mariota in this group, and it's just because of the new ownership and leadership. Dan Quinn is coaching his ass off. That defense has a bunch of scrubs on it. They lost Jonathan Allen, for crying out loud, and they're still fucking dominating teams. Okay? This is why leadership matters, coaching matters, and just overall belief matters. And when you get your backups to believe, like a Mariota, who comes in cold turkey, right? They're giving all those reps to Jaden Daniels. Same thing they're doing in New York with Jones. They're giving all those reps to him. That guy comes off cold turkey and runs the offense like a machine. And if that can still be the case and they can still be efficient on offense, they can let JD sit as long as they need him to for a while. Say, listen, you know what? We're playing a lesser team in, whatever, the Commanders, the Giants this week. We don't need you to play. I'm sure he might play against the Giants because that's a couple weeks out. But whoever they're playing this week, they could probably sit him down and say, you know what? We don't need to rush you because Marcus Mariota's got this. You know what I'm saying? And we're playing at such a good level right now that we don't need to rush you along, right? That's what we're talking about here. And their leaders are stepping up in key moments. Luvu is having a great season. This team right now is fun to watch. And you may not like the Commanders for whatever reason. I know we're the NFC East. We're not supposed to like them. But if you're a Commander fan, you got to be happy with what you're seeing. You've won 5 games. Anything above this is gravy. You won 4 last year. You've won 5 this year. You've already surpassed your win total from last year. Anything else is gravy on top of that. And I know that's not something you want to, oh, well, we win 5 games. But think about that, right? You won 5 games. You may, by the end of this, get close to this, have double the wins you had last year. You may have doubled by, 4 wins. And for all we know, you could be in the playoffs after this, right? I think you might hit another team that we'll talk about in a minute with a buzzsaw, but they're looking pretty good. And Mac, you're right. They handle their business against a lesser team, and that's what you want to see these decent teams do, is handle. This is why I tell the Giant fan base all the time: come out and dominate a team like that. Oh, well, we beat the Colts, Adam. That team gave up. Go out and hang with the fucking Baltimore Ravens. Go out and beat a team like Cincinnati that's in the dumps. No. Well, what do you got in Commanders? They believe. They believe in what's going down. They believe in their system. And most importantly, they believe in their quarterback. And that is what I tell you when you get a franchise guy. It's more than just X's and O's. You look at CJ Stroud, listen to what DeMarco Ryan said last year. CJ Stroud is lifting up the entire football team with his play. And yes, he had a bad game this week, and we'll talk about that on Premium Takes. But what my point is you don't know what energy can do for you with that guy. And Jaden Daniels' energy is being felt throughout this team, and the injury, thank God, is minor. I don't necessarily think you should put him out there. Give him a week to rest. If you think the Giant game is a game to do, and if you want to play him in the Giant game and you're dominating, take him out at halftime. If you're beating the Giants 28-0, sit him. But I'll wrap it like this. If I'm a Commander fan, I'm excited about the future, my cap space, my quarterback, and a team that is laying a foundation right now to be hopefully a contender for years to come.
Yeah, good stuff, man. And you hit the nail on the head about Jaden Daniels. I mean, even while being banged up and not being able to compete out there on Sunday in that game, coming back out of that locker room, he was changed out of his uniform. Obviously, wasn't going back in the game, but just being on that sideline with his guys and just still providing that spark, even from the sideline, man. It's just people, you rally behind that. You believe, you truly believe in that. You know what I mean? Because you've seen what this kid, you see obviously what the kid can do on the field. As far as about this week, we can pretty much get right into that if you want.
Yep.
Because they do have the Chicago Bears this week in a kind of a fun little showdown game, so to speak. The top two draft picks going head to head for the first time.
Is Jaden
Caleb
playing?
Williams, if Jaden played, I don't know if he's playing or not. I haven't seen any of their updates from Commander camp.
I should look it up.
Everything I've is that he's done. There's been nothing
I wouldn't play
serious.
him.
I haven't seen anything ruling him out of the game this week. His mom made it a point to tweet out that her baby was okay on Sunday.
Well, apparently he
get
missed
worried
practice.
about.
He missed practice today, so I don't think If I were them, I would sit him out in this ferocious Bear defense. Let Marcus Mariota. It sucks because these are the games you want him for, right? But and I would love to see Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels. That would be great theater, right? I mean, my God, but
yeah, that would have been pretty dope to get those guys. But I have to wait and see. I don't know if he's going to be some type of a game time decision or whatever. I don't know. But nonetheless, this should still be a fun game. We got two teams right here on the rise: the Washington Commanders, the Chicago Bears, representing part of what is at the absolute best division of football as of right now in the NFC North division, and all 4 teams are just absolutely rocking and rolling in that division right now. No one has a losing record. No one is even only just 500. They're all above 500 in that division, top to bottom. And uh, Caleb Williams, man, light bulb then came on, man. Got off to a pretty kind of a slow start the first couple of weeks of the season. Going through the growing pains of transitioning to the NFL, but it looks like that light bulb is on, shining very bright right now, man. Caleb Williams has been balling the last couple of weeks, putting up big time numbers, man, and it's been pretty lights out, and it's been fun to watch and seeing number one overall pick going up there, showing off and showing out, man. I think unfortunately, it looks like probably, like you said, it's. I almost would lean in the direction that Jaden probably won't be playing in this game, and that's kind of messed up because this is a game I think a lot of people probably circled on the schedule even before the season started, just because
Right.
number one, number two overall picks, going head up, and unfortunately, like Jaden probably will miss this one. Maybe like I said, I
This
don't know
may
for
not be the
sure, but
last time they see the Bears. Ooh, look at that tease.
I mean, look, these two teams at this point right now, these are two teams that, for all we know, could be in the postseason. They may see each other again later on down the line this season, possibly. You never know. I mean,
I
so
mean, hey, long season for that. You're right.
I mean, it's a lot of football left. I mean, Bears, the division is tough, man, but right now they're hanging in there right now with everybody else in that
Right.
division as well. So it,
I think the game
and
is bigger for the
they look pretty
Bears,
for real.
bigger for the Bears than
Yeah.
the Commanders for me. But this is a game. This is a game for me for the Commanders has two ways of going about it. One, if they don't have their star in there and they lose, you could say, "Hey, up and coming Bears team, we didn't have our starting quarterback." If you win, it's one of those games where we might have to start to take you for real as a possible team that may not go deep in the playoffs, but a serious playoff contender at least at that point. But if you lose, the good thing is you have the Giants coming up the week after that, right? So there's a soft landing spot for the Commanders to keep this thing going, even if they might slip up against the Bears. If they beat the Bears, though, I'm going to tell you this right now. Commanders, to me, that will be the litmus test because the Bears aren't quite as good as the Ravens, but they are a very good defense. They're coming along on offense. If you can win this game and get to 6-2, and then come into that Giant game, you could really the Commanders, if they're looking at this the way I'm looking at this, and teams do that, and you're looking at your path to playoffs, right? This is a team you want to beat. You don't care about beating the Bengals or any of those teams really because they're not in your conference, but the Bears are, right? So you want to beat the Bears, and then you have a division game behind that, beat the Giants, right? And then you're establishing yourself in that 6 to 7 win window, and now you can start to think about the postseason and how you can get there, right? Not saying if you lose this game you're out of it. It's just a different feel if you beat the Bears going into that Giant game, and then the expectations then change. The expectations going from we're having a good season to now let's start stacking some wins and try to get in better playoff positioning. So that's why I think while this game is bigger for the Bears because of the teams above them, right now everyone's looking up at the Commanders, and they're looking down at us. So they have a lead they can use as a cushion. You don't necessarily want to think like that. However, in perspective of both teams, the Bears need this win to keep in with the race. But the Washington Commanders, if they win this game, we have to start to think of them as maybe a team that we have to start to think about come to playoff time, winning a game or so. So that's how I want to paint this game
Mm,
for the Commanders.
But my only thing only thing I slightly disagree with you about. I think this game is very important for the Commanders for the reason of you look at their 5-2 record right now. Their two losses, the Buck against the Bucks and the Baltimore Ravens, two teams winning records that are two of the better teams in the league currently right now. And their wins have been against the Cardinals, the Panthers, the Bengals, the Browns, and the Giants. And it's like No, I don't want them to. I don't. I'm liking what I'm seeing from this Commander football team. They are a very fun team to watch. I don't want to get. I don't want them to be labeled with that. Oh, they can only beat the bad teams. You know what I mean? I want them to go out there and kind of get a kind of somewhat signature win. And this Bears team, like you said, as they're not as good as the Baltimore Ravens. You know what I mean? At all. But at the same time, they're a team right now, 4-2 winning record, playing good football, and it would be a good win for the Commanders to go out
Right.
there and be able to take care of business against this football team. So I wouldn't want to see this team that like I said get kind of hit with that stigma of they can only beat the bad football teams, and every time they play somebody good with a winning record, that's when they kind of fumble
Right.
and kind of drop the ball a bit.
And I see you, and I
But
and I agree with what you're saying. And I made the statement that I think if the Commanders win this game, we have to take them a little serious. The only thing I'm saying is like, for me, the Commanders don't need to beat the Bears to get into the playoffs. They need to beat the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Eagles. Right. What this game does for the Commanders is give them legitimacy in the NFC picture as a team that should be considered in the top 4 or 5 teams in the playoffs, right? And then if they lose, it's like, all right, well, maybe they're not contenders, but if they still beat the Giants, they still have a path to getting in. The Bears have a tougher time. They win this game, they're in the race, right? They still have Green Bay and Minnesota to play, but at least they're in the race with them. They lose the game, they probably are flirting with the wild card, but the Commanders will have a different way of doing it. So I think while I agree with you and your point that this game is huge, I'm just saying there's a softer landing spot for the Commanders. If they lose this game, they have the Giants coming out of it. They can still kind of, get to the playoffs and build their camaraderie and team as they go. But like you said, they beat this team. I'm telling you right now, if they beat the Bears and they beat them like handily, right? Let's say they beat them by 2 touchdowns. We might have to start considering this team not a Super Bowl contender, but at least a definite playoff contender, and maybe somebody who could be sneaky in let's say the wild card round, or maybe get into the divisional round because you underestimate them. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely, absolutely, definitely agree with that. So how do you see this one playing out, Adam?
This is tough for me. The Commanders and Marcus. See, if you had Jaden Daniels, I would say the Commanders are going to win. But I have a feeling the Bears they need this game more than the Commanders at the moment. I think they're going to steal one. So I'm going to go with the Commanders. I mean the Bears. Excuse me.
Hmm. You know, I would feel better if I knew for sure about the status of Jaden Daniels, but I'm gonna still go with the Commanders, man. This team, man, it's something about winning, man. Just once you get used to that feeling, you guys in that lot, you want to keep that shit going. And even if Jaden, if he can't play, he'll still be out there with his guys, and I believe that he'll channel that energy from the sideline once again, just like he was on Sunday against the Panthers. And I know this is definitely a step up in class from the Carolina Panthers, but at the same time, I think Marcus Mariota is a veteran enough quarterback to be able to go out there and navigate you a victory on Sunday at home in front of
He
their home
should.
fans, man. I think the Washington Commanders pull it off, man. But
Well, we'll see. Should
next
be
up,
fun.
man, let's go to next up on the docket, man. 1 o'clock window. We got the Philadelphia Eagles traveling out to visit the Cincinnati Bengals. Eagles coming off of a huge victory in the division against the New York Giants on Sunday. What you think about the Eagles? You think they're back, or what you think about this one?
Oh God, it's both my teams. I can't get a break, right? I'm trying to have the Bengals sneak their way back into the race, and here come the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Eagles might have found something. I know people don't want to talk about it, but they might have found how their identity, what they do defensively. I thought they had a solid to good game, and let's see if it gets put to the test against this Bengal team, who has been scraping and clawing for victories. No pun intended. With that being said, I'm going to have to say the Bengals unfortunately come up short here, because I think it'll be a high scoring game. I think the Eagles will eventually be too much. Saquon Barkley will be a little too much to handle for this defense for the Bengals. I could be wrong, but I'm going with the I'm going with the Eagles. And I love the Bengals. Pains me to say that.
I mean, I'm still. I just think the Eagles were recipients. They were gifted the New York Giants on Sunday. I'm still not so sure. They didn't exactly. I mean, look, Saquon Barkley had a great game. He did, and that's true indeed. There's nothing you can't see it. There's no other way to look at that. But there's still some issues with this football team, I believe, man. And I think a better level of opponent, which the Bengals are a better level of opponent than the New York Giants. Obviously, just quarterback play alone. I think that could cause the Eagles a little bit of problems on the road. Also out there in Cincinnati, I'm not so sure if I'm ready to just believe the hype on the Philadelphia Eagles because they beat up on a lowly New York Giant team on Sunday. Uh, I mean, Jalen Hurts is still having a little bit of issues, even though once you get that running game going with Saquon Barkley, it makes a lot of his passes a lot easier for him to make some of those big downfield throws as we saw to AJ Brown and such. But I'm gonna go with the Bengals here. I think the Bengals actually pull this one off, man, at home. I think the Bengals might be kind of finding their way again a little bit. T. Higgins is starting to just get into a groove. Getting back into a groove, and that's that 1-2 punch with him and Jamar Chase. It's one of the most lethal combinations in all of the NFL. Man, Joe Burrow playing tremendous football overall. The defense is getting a little more sound. So the Bengals, I think they're gonna get the Eagles a little bit of problems here because I'm still not a full believer in what the Philadelphia Eagles are bringing to the table right now. I think on Sunday they just were lucky that they were playing the Giants, to be quite frank. And I hate to have to say that, but that's just what it is. They were lucky. I think they were more kind of lucky that they were playing the Giants because it still wasn't necessarily the prettiest, but they were able to take advantage of all of the New York Giants' stupidity, pretty much. And I don't know. I think the Bengals here present a little more of a challenge, and I think that Joe Burrow may be able to find a little something against this Eagle defense that Daniel Jones couldn't. So I'm gonna go with I think Cincinnati takes this one, man, on Sunday against the Eagles, man. That's how I feel about that one. I don't know if you have anything else you want to say about this game.
Go Joe, go Joe, go Joe.
Well, all right, then we can take it to the next one, man. Sunday night football. The Dallas Cowboys going out to the West Coast to take on the San Francisco 49ers, a team that is just riddled with injuries at this point right now. All of their top superstars, man. Just, I don't know. Debo Samuels is out of the hospital, but still
Mm.
don't know about the status for Sunday. I kind of doubt that he'll be playing on Sunday. But Brandon Ayuk out for the season. Still don't really know what the hell is going on with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
And Brock Purdy is having his struggles a bit, man. What you think? How you think this one plays out on Sunday night?
I
Cowboys
think
coming off a bye week.
I think the Cowboys got the right team at the right time. If this was a full strength 49er team, I'd say there's no chance for the Cowboys. But that's not true. They have a chance, and I think they're going to kick in the door with 2 weeks off. Shore up some things. You're catching a wounded animal in San Francisco. They're going to probably lean on the run heavy. And I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys here. This is, again, we talk about styles making fights. The Cowboys, how they're constructed right now, the 49ers fit their style of play. A quarterback that's making short throws, keeping everything in front of you, not many downfield passing. The one thing they do have is the run game, which hasn't been as effective as late. And, if you're the Cowboys, you got to know that's what they're going to do. So if you don't have to worry too much about the passing game because Debo's out, Ayuk is out, Parasol's a rookie, advantage Cowboys defensively in terms of how you scheme things up. So that's one thing. Offensively, they lost some heavy hitters on defense as well. I think Fred Warner might be banged up too. So they got some guys out there that on defense that are hurting, and the Cowboys need to take advantage of it. And if they do, this could be a game that we're talking about at the end of the year that pushes the 49ers maybe out of the playoff mix. Arizona is kind of surging. Seattle just won their game. If you lose these games because your superstars aren't in here and you kind of are floundering, it's going to be tough to watch. Let's see what Kyle Shanahan can do, but I'm going to pick the Cowboys.
Interesting indeed. I'm kind of with you right there, man. The 49ers, they're a wounded duck right now, man. And Brock Purdy clearly is not the same quarterback without his guys out, without his top guys out there. I mean, he still got George Kittle out there, man. But I mean, a wide receiver, man. I mean, you got some. All right, they're all right, but they're not Debo and Brandon Ayuk. And it's a big difference, man. This 49er team has had their struggles all season, and I think
They
the
should trade
Cowboys
for
coming
that.
off the bye week. I think the Cowboys coming off the bye week. We'll have some answers for him. I'm not sure. I think they should be getting Micah Parsons back in the lineup, if I'm not mistaken, and get that defense. Maybe they can get that defense going, bring some life back to that defense, and yeah, I think the Cowboys end up being a little too much on Sunday night. I think the 49ers are just too beat up right now. I think to go in there, and even though they'll be at home, it's just a lot to ask a football team to overcome. I mean, I know their defense is still legit as it gets, but let's face it, there's only so much they're going to be able to do against the Cowboy offense. After too long, Dak Prescott will find a way to probably carve through that defense a little bit, and I think the 49ers are going to have struggles scoring points right now, which is what they're putting out on the field right now. So I like the Cowboys just for that reason. I think the Cowboys, like you said it best. They catch the right team at the right time in this 49er team, and I do believe the Cowboys take care of business Sunday night, and that leaves us with one more. One more game to talk about. And for the last time, people, we promise you, this is the last time the national audience will be subjected to New York Giant football in prime time this season. This is the last time.
Mhm.
On Monday Night Football, the New York Giants
Well,
head to
technically, no.
Pittsburgh.
They have
Oh,
the
they got
Thanksgiving,
the Cowboys.
the Thanksgiving,
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
I forgot
technically
about
prime
that.
time, but like the America watching, like, yeah, this is, we have two more games. This
Yeah,
one and the Cowboy game.
yeah, I forgot about Thanksgiving, but yeah,
Flex us
Giants
off.
headed to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers Monday Night Football. I mean, we saw Steelers inserted Russ Wilson back into the mix, and all of a sudden we had a George Pickens sighting. So
Mhm.
the offense was completely different a week ago. When the Steelers' offense looked completely different a week ago with Russ Wilson back at quarterback, man. I mean, he was throwing the ball all over the yard. Adam, how you see this one looking, man? How you feel about this one?
Oh, I do not want to go down to Steel Curtain Town today if I'm a Giants fan. I do not care when anybody tells me they are going to whip our ass. Okay, first off, it's the family game, right? You know, the family tree. Second off, they have Russell Wilson there. He's competent. He's not going to put this team in a precarious position, and they don't really need to do much. Okay, they had a great game against the Jets after they knocked the rust off, but that defense made Aaron Rodgers look bad. They was under duress all night. We couldn't keep an Eagle team whose defense is far less, menacing than the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers, they got J.J. Watt, they got Howard, they have Highsmith, all healthy. They got Peyton Wilson and as their defense linebacker. I think they have Fitzpatrick as well as a safety. They got a lot going on for them over there. Offensively, they have Najee Harris, who put up a big game. This is going to be a bludgeoning match. They're going to be. Think about this. This is what Mike Tomlin's thinking about. The reason he said that he inserted Russell Wilson, he's trying to win a championship. That's what he said. Okay, and games like this against the Giants, he's going to have his team ready. He's going to have them ready because he knows this game is a stepping stone in the overall record to being in the mix. Okay, because one, you still play the Ravens and the rest of your division, but you don't want to be that team that is 11-6 and could have been 12-5, but you lost to the Giants, a game that you probably should have won, and a team that you should beat. Right? This is a game that people are saying, "Oh, it's a trap game." Ain't no trap game. Pittsburgh don't play trap games. Pittsburgh plays beatdowns. Okay, that's what they play. And this is going to be one of those games where the Giants, they're one of the best run defenses in the league. The Giants are one of the worst run offenses in the league. Okay, they're a decent passing team, but our offense can't throw for more than 5 yards. On the offensive side of the ball, they're a decent run team, and we can't stop decent run teams. Najee Harris is running downhill. They're doing that. Russell Wilson doesn't have to play fantastic, but he has to play well enough for them to win. I think he's going to expose some of the things that you saw. Right? They have a decent tight end. This game, I just don't see a path for the Giants' victory with the way that the offense has played the last 2 weeks. And mind you, think about the last two defenses we played. When going into the Giant game, those defenses aren't talked about like, oh, they're great. You're playing that vaunted, Bengals defense. No, they were a laughing stock. They were a joke, the Bengals. We couldn't score more than 7 points. The Eagles, who got run over all over the place, who everyone's telling me their defense is bad, came in and had 9 sacks against us. Okay, and basically made the offense a joke. They gave up 3 points. Okay, 3 points. So now I'm supposed to believe a defense that is far better than both the two that we faced is going to come in here and look at the Giants' offense and not eat us for lunch. We just heard that Josh Zudu possibly is starting at left tackle. If I'm Daniel Jones, I am taking out my insurance policy today and saying, I'm going to probably cash in that check in today. Give me the money, advance notice, because somebody might not finish the game. And by all means, if they are getting beat down badly and it's like 21-3 at the half or 14-3 at the half, and you need a spark, you by all means you put that quarterback on the bench and you bring out Drew Lock. Because the point here is this. I don't want moral victories. The Giants, I want them to lose to get draft position. I said that right now. I don't care. Okay? Call me a fake fan or whatever. The betterment of this team, they need to lose. Period. Point blank and period. That's it. Not winning moral victories and being a team like Pittsburgh. Take your fucking lumps. Pittsburgh, they're a well-coached team, and they're not going to overlook the Giants. I know a lot of people saying a trap game. I expect Pittsburgh to come out and be feisty and be, wanting to get their defense going, because that's what the heart of that Pittsburgh team is. They get their defense going. They make the Giants 3 and out, do long punts. I guarantee you this is how the game plan is going to go. They're going to, if they don't score, they're going to punt us deep in our end, and they're going to make our offense drive the length of the field. Probably get to like the Giants 40-yard line, and they'll punt. They'll just keep doing that and kick long field goals. That's how you beat the Giants. It's not that hard. They don't have an offense that can score in quick plays. They have to do long, methodical drives. They don't throw the ball downfield. This is going to be a nightmare if we can't score points and they do what I said, right? And they just play defensive control. Like our defense might come to play for the first quarter or so. And that's another thing we got to look at. Will Banks be there? If Banks does another let up and this team starts to give up games, it could be curtains. Monday night is a huge game in my eyes in terms of how Brian Daboll will be viewed going forward. If this team comes out and is a lame duck and is flat and they get railroaded out the gate, that could be curtains for him. If they fight hard and lose a game because the Pittsburgh is just more talented and they hang with them for 3 quarters, but in the fourth quarter it just gets the doors blown off, maybe we can have a conversation. I don't necessarily want moral victories, but if you're looking at it in an evaluation standpoint, you've got to look at it like that. Like where are we? Like this team needs to come out and play. I don't care if you're losing the game. Give me some fight. Give me some spirit. Give me some guys still hustling, still running, still putting their head on the line. If they do that, that means this team is still trying to invest. If they do what they did with Deontay Banks, and that player is on the field still, we got problems.
All right, good stuff. What's going on to my guy Frank Grouch in the building? I appreciate you, bro, for stopping in, man. Thanks for coming through. But look, what you just said is that right there is what sums it all up, man. Look, I don't. There's never any shame in losing to a team because you're just not as talented and you're just flat out not as good as they are. And that's what right now. That's a situation with the Giants and the Steelers. I mean, let's face it, Giants aren't as good as the Steelers. I mean, they're just not as good of a football team. Not as talented. They're just not as good. But when if you go out there and give me the kind of effort you gave me against Philly, and you just basically lay down and bow down, that's the shit that's not acceptable. Like I said, if you lose while swinging, you lose, you fighting, you giving it everything you got, that's one thing. But to just lay down, that's the shit I can't accept. And so as far as I'm concerned with this game here, I don't know what to really expect because what I saw on Sunday was such a disgrace that I don't even know anymore what to think about this football team. What I do know is I could very well see it playing out similarly to this Eagles game, man, where you'll get the defense coming out gangbusters, getting after Russ Wilson a bit, putting the heat on him, putting the pressure on him, trying to keep this thing competitive for, like you said, the first quarter or so. But if this offense comes out doing the same old stupid shit that they always do, which is absolutely nothing, and just be horrible, then it could just kind of play out the same way where the defense is just going to say, well, what the fuck are we out here killing ourselves for? Why are we out here what are we out here trying to stop these guys from scoring when this offense ain't going to put no points on the board? I go all the way back to that Washington game. The fact that we lost a football game and against a team that didn't even have to score a touchdown to beat us. Didn't even score a touchdown in that football game, and yet we took an L. That's the things wrong with this New York Giant football team. Things like that you lost a football game to a team that didn't even need to score a touchdown to beat you. And I don't know. I could just see this game being something like that Eagles game potentially, man. I just don't know anymore. I don't have any trust, any faith in this football team anymore.
Well, I think the defense will come out and play. It's whether the offense will match that energy. Because if the offense is coming out and sputtering, the defense is going to be like, good night the lights earlier than they want to. Okay? But because here's the thing, normally I'd say, normally the Giants probably would be like 3-4, maybe like that, or 4 and something. And you're like, oh yeah, maybe the Giants have a chance here. Pittsburgh, big game. This game has all the writings of where the wheels fall off the bus, where, I need to see effort. I mean, because right now, I know they're not a good team, and I know they're not going to win many games this season, if that, maybe 5 at max. I don't even see that. But what I don't want to see is what we saw on Sunday, essentially. If they give up and Pittsburgh is just making it a rout and it's like 30-3 or 30-7 or something like that, like it's going to be one of those things where now we're not even worried about, the regime coming back, because the locker room will be lost and you will start to lose to teams because no one's going to give a shit anymore. And it's starting to feel that way. And I feel the only way you might get that spark back is if you bench the quarterback and at least the defense goes, maybe we have a chance with Drew Lock. We never get to see him. right? It's almost a refresher, a reset. But I wonder how long the leash is going to be for Daniel Jones. Because that's something I want to monitor severely as well. Because if he's coming out and he's clearly struggling, and I think, listen, Aaron Rodgers struggled against this defense. This defense makes a lot of teams struggle. And Daniel Jones is not anywhere near the caliber of Aaron Rodgers. So I don't think he's going to be that effective
If
against.
Joshua Azudu is the left tackle, that's already in Daniel Jones' head already. That's already in
Yeah,
his head.
well, I'm just
That's
right.
already.
So what does that mean? That means he's going to be jittery, skittish. He's going to have passes off the mark because he's going to try to be hurrying to try to do that. This team, if you've not watched, I watched Pittsburgh last night, the last week, so I can get a read on them. They were better than they looked in that first half. They kept their offense close. The Jets scored a touchdown. They did what they had to do, but after that, they were the clamps. They clamped down. The Jets looked lost after that. And this offense is far less sophisticated than the Jets and far less talented than what the Jets were trying out there. Our running back is a backup running back. We have our speedster wide receiver is going to be probably benched for this game because of injury. Darius Slayton hasn't done shit. We didn't do shit last week against a team that is not statistically a good defense, and they beat us, right? And now we are playing another interior front that is pretty good in Cam Hayward, who
TJ Watt.
pocket.
I'm just going to say TJ Watt.
Right. Well, think about it like this. TJ Watt gets a lot of his sacks because Ironhead Hayward, he pushes the middle, and the Giants have had trouble with D tackles up the middle. And if you don't stop the run, because the Pittsburgh is going to run on you right now, they know what your weakness is. You can't stop the run. So why am I going to drop back 80 times and throw the football? The Eagles
Why are they
drop
going
back.
to do that against a team that leads the league in sacks? I mean, a defense that leads the league in sacks, they're not going to just put it out. They're not just going to make it easy for you. They're not going to let you do what you do best.
Right. And so yes, well, they still have to make adjustments. That's up to Russell Wilson and that offensive team to kind of go with the ebb and flow of the game and make your adjustments as you go. But you can't be that naive to know what the weakness is. And what has been a weakness that I've pointed out with this Giant team. Minnesota, run game, lost. Washington, heavy run game, lost. Right? We didn't do very good against Kenneth Walker and those teams. I mean, we should have lost that game, but they didn't run a lot, right? And we won. And then we played the Cowboys. They didn't run a lot, but they found their running game and we lost, right? Because they have effective run games. And then we had the Eagle game where we ran for 200 yards. This is a weakness, folks. We are one of the worst run teams in the league. And right now we're facing these next couple of teams that are very strong and have very strong running backs. Najee Harris, Brian Robinson in the next game, right? These are teams that play right into the Giants' weaknesses. And if this Pittsburgh team can grind it out and get big plays in the run game and open you up a bit, not have to score. I think Pittsburgh's going to score. They score 23 points a game. I think they're going to hit that. The Giants give up 21 points a game. You know how many points the Pittsburgh gives up? Like 15. So the Giants can still get their mark of 14.1 points a game and still lose this football game, right? I've lost faith in this team. Not that I had much of it anyways, when they lost to the Bengals. When they didn't step up to the Bengals game and they lost that game, I said, I already knew this team was going to be bad, but I knew they were fraudulent. And that game against Seattle was one of those one-offs that you see from Daniel Jones. Oh, look at that great game he had. And now what are we talking about? We're talking about this guy probably not making it through halftime of this game, either due to injury or just bad play.
Wow. Yeah, so with all of that said, I know I'm pretty much I can't fix my mouth to say the New York Giants are going to win this football game, so I got to go with the Steelers here as far as a prediction. Obviously, we know what I want to happen, but I just don't see it happening. So
I don't even want
the
them to win.
Steelers.
I'm sorry. I don't want them to win. I might pick them in a few other games just because of the matchups that they're playing, but They don't need to win for me. What I need them to do
No, I mean, I understand the need. I know what you say when you say you don't need to, they don't need to win, but I mean, the fan in me is always want them to win. I mean, I just can't control that.
right.
That's just something I can't. That's out of my.
And I agree with you. I want them to win, but in my eyes, I'm looking at it like I'm tired of the same rinse and repeat, scraping to get 6 wins, to not be in the area to get the quarterback that we need or the player that we need, and we constantly do it back. I just if we're gonna lose, just fucking lose, and just let me have fun while I let you lose, then, right? Because I hate that they're losing, but we don't even have fun when they lose. We don't get to see, like, big plays or anything like that. Other teams lose and they get touchdowns and this, that, and the other thing. We lose and we get 3 points and we look like fucking a varsity team. I don't want to see Daniel Jones anymore. I'm just so spent. So for me, I can't really, it's hard for me to get behind this team, because at the end of the day, I know the right thing for them is to be higher up in the draft, so we can get one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in this draft, so we can move on and head in the right direction and maybe fire guys. But deep down, do I want to win? Sure, I would. If Spencer Rattler was my quarterback, I'd be like, let's do it. Let's roll the dice and have fun with it. But I don't even have that. So, and with the effort that they've been giving, the drama that is going on right now with the finger pointing of the wide receiver, and to the like, there's just so much going on that, to me, it's going to be hard for them to win a lot more games, especially if they lose this game. I can see the wheels falling off. I know that was long-winded to get to my prediction, but I'm not picking the Giants in this game. Can't do it.
Can't do it. Won't do it. Not going to do it. I think the Steelers win on Monday night, pushing Daniel Jones' record to even worse heights in the prime time.
Oh my God! Oh my Lord!
You can't make this shit up. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. His record is absolutely horrendous in prime time. I mean, it's horrendous.
Oh God!
I've just never seen something so terrible.
Oh my God! Wow!
But
wow! Talk about when the lights get the brightest, he shrinks.
It's funny that you go from like a guy like Eli who thrived under the bright lights. You know what I mean?
Right.
To Daniel Jones, who just absolutely stinks in those situations, man. It was funny. I was watching the video on Giants.com earlier, just talking to Hakeem Nicks. You know what I mean? He was just talking about how Eli, what Eli meant to the team, the kind of leader that he was, the things that people didn't really necessarily give him credit. A lot of things people don't give him credit for. And it's just, you hear all these things, and it's like, and now we got Daniel Jones.
But think about this. Think about this, right? Eli Manning would stand up in a room and people would listen. If Daniel Jones stands up in a room, everyone's going to be looking at their phones. Okay, that guy is not an alpha. He's just not an alpha. He's a guy that works hard. God bless him. Maybe you want him to date your daughter or whatever. Fine, good. He'll keep being an accountant on somebody else's team. But the guy he's not even like a good-looking dude, right? Like he just looks like a giant goofball. And apparently they took him off the marquee this week against the Steelers, and they put Dexter Lawrence on there. And my point is this: George Young said it best. I think it was him who said this. He said, "You want to draft a quarterback because fans get behind a quarterback, and that's how they kind of, want to be, right?" And we're sitting here, and we got a quarterback whose confidence is fucking shot. He's calling the coach by Dable. He's, like all this shit. And like, yo, sit the fuck down, move the fuck on. I don't need to see you anymore. Just do your job, lose us some games, get us a draft pick, and get the fuck up out of here. All right? Take your $22 million with you, because ain't nobody going to pay you that after you're in New York. It's over for this guy. And I need it to be over for this guy. And I need it to just be done and over with. And, it's been hard to watch, and that's why I'm saying to people, don't worry about wins. Worry about what is going to make this team better. Rip it all down. Start from the studs. Keep your few guys, get your quarterback, bring in a bridge guy here, move on from Daniel Jones. If it means you have to keep Dable, fine, I guess. I don't know. But if you bring in a new coach and GM here, know that, hey, we have 3 years to get this right. This is going to be our window that we're going to try to work with this young guy. We're going to bring in a bridge guy to be our quarterback and do what the Patriots are doing and do what the fucking Commanders are doing. The Commanders didn't think they were going to win. They just put in Jaden Daniels because he was better than Marcus Mariota. And they're like, whatever, well, just a red shirt year. They happen to be good. And guess what? Now they have a ton of fucking cap space to go do shit and be good. I don't want to rebuild and win 6 games and do all this shit and be like, oh, we're back on the wheel again. The guy comes out and goes, we're going to compete and rebuild, and do that same shit again. I don't want to do it anymore. It's time to go. No. Yes, it's been 7 years. I get it. But the new coach and new GM or new coach that comes in needs to get, first thing you do, you draft your quarterback. He doesn't need to start. You could bring in fucking Tannehill, fucking Baker, fucking, if you want to bring in a Matthew Stafford, if you can get him for a cheap deal and draft your quarterback, whatever you want to do, I'm down with that. But you better bring in somebody here to groom like the Atlanta Falcons did, right? And if it's a new regime, Mike Vrabel's my choice. And if I had to say, I know it's long-winded, but we're about to close it out. But the Giants are going to have a lot of tough decisions to make. And if a guy like Mike Vrabel comes available, the Giants might go that route, where a guy with more coaching experience. So I know I'm fed up. I'm tired of this. I wish our game was Thursday and not Monday so we could get it over with. But here we are.
What up, Tudo, man? Thanks for popping in, Tudo. I appreciate you, Big Blue 831, man. Thanks for popping in, man. I appreciate you. But most definitely, man. I just want to say before we do get out of here, saying one more thing, because like I said, this Giants season has been absolutely horrendous. Year 100 of the New York Giants, man, and there is one New York Giant that is absolutely standing out for all the right reasons this season. Dexter Lawrence has been a maniac in the middle of this defense, man, and I just try to find any kind of bright spot that I can find, and that right there is the brightest spot on this football team right now by far. It's not even really close. Dexter Lawrence playing absolute big time football, man. So if nothing else, I'm keep my eye on Dex at least to going the rest of this way, because right now he's honestly playing himself to potentially he'll be at least in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year at the very least. So just keep an eye on Dex, man, and that's about all I got, man. He is the true only shining spot on this football team right now, truly this year, unfortunately. But that is about all we got for y'all this week. We at that 90-minute mark. We have once again reached that 90-minute mark, and we are going to wrap it up this week. Me and Adam will be back next Wednesday for yet again another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Round-Up. So make sure y'all go to my channel at MacDaGiantsFan, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, hit them likes. Go to Adam's channel, Adam Costas, and do the same thing. Hit that subscribe, get the thumbs up. Go to the Hardcore Sports Network and show the Hardcore Sports Network some love as well. Most definitely would appreciate it. And we'll be back next Wednesday, man. You can check us out, me and Adam, on Premium Takes tomorrow, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern time as well with our other co-host, Zion Zenith, man. And we'll see y'all next Wednesday, man. I'm Mac the Giants fan. This is my guy, the super dope co-host, Adam Costas. Hey! I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants fan. That's MacDa Giants fan.